A nice combination of grids here. We have the Indy Intermax, the Indy Micromax and the Water Swifts all together. Ryan Wheatley and William Spencer on the front row of the grid from Ruben Gore and Hakim Bat. And then Ethan Taylor is alongside Hector McCormick. We may only have a 6-kart grid and they may be in 3 completely different types of kart. But this is Hooton Park and this is national grade grassroots karting. It's going to be very exciting all the way. Here we go. Heat 1 of the Grosvenor Cup. And Ruben Gore slotting into second position, not getting things out of ward in the first couple of corners, just deciding to follow in pursuit of Ryan Wheatley for the moment. William Spencer already starting to chase him down, and it's a fairly succinct start to all of these particular drivers' races, as they do not get the shenanigans up underway in the first turn. So Ruben Gore already starting to stretch away from William Spencer. You can see that Wheatley and Gore have definitely got the pace in this first part of the lap and are already starting to stretch an advantage.
Yeah, and they're in different karts as well, Jake. The Ryan Wheatley's in the Micromax, and we've got Ruben Gore in the Intermax. Now, I'm not sure, because I've not done a lot on these before. The Intermax, that's the new class in karting. Ooh. But there shouldn't be too much difference between them, I guess.
Did you see the twitch that Ruben Gore had going through turn 1? It's very tricky on the second lap because obviously you've been trying to warm the tyres and brakes to the optimum temperature to make sure that you've got confidence and faith going into turn 1. And he carried a lot of speed through that first corner, but the back end started to split. And it was a very difficult moment for him. Just managed to catch it before it turned him around. Now, that's Hakim Bat closing in on William Spencer as they try to duel away for third position overall. Hakim Bat on the Tony Kart chassis, just trying to make his way through to move up into the third position. This is the chance for Ruben Gore. He's got his confidence together and up on the inside then, passing Ryan Wheatley and then running wide immediately. So again, that first corner is a bit of an Achilles heel really for Ruben Gore. He got the fastest lap of the race, he got up the inside of Ryan Wheatley, but he just carried a little bit too much speed and it's all gone back to the way it was before. But you can sense that Ruben Gore is not going to sit around behind Ryan Wheatley for long. This is really good racing between the two of them. Now Wheatley getting the back end of the kart out, both drivers putting each other under pressure.
Yeah, sliding around, both of them, aren't they? So Gore set the fastest lap last time round. It's still Wheatley that holds on, but for how long? Not very is the answer. Down the inside, here comes Ruben Gore and takes it into turn 1 at Vauxhall.
And this time he has been able to keep the kart on the right, straight, narrow path. So no problems at all for Ruben Gore in turn 1 on lap 3. Manages to hold the lead in front of Ryan Wheatley. And Hakim Bat, by the way, across the line in front of William Spencer. So is that a completed move? It is. So Hakim Bat now into third position ahead of William Spencer. Then Ethan Taylor and Hector McCormick a little way further back. Not quite on the same pace as the top 4, but they are very close together in terms of lap times. Hakim Bat actually looks like he might have the pace to go and get after Ryan Wheatley.
Yeah, a bit of a Noah's Ark race this one, 2x2x2. Although Ruben Gore starting to stretch his legs now, Jake, as they go through Vauxhall one more time. Vauxhall is turn 1, the gate is turn 2. Well, because there's a gate there basically. And it goes up here on the back straight up to Hooton hairpin. Here are the rest of them. Further back it's Ethan Taylor and Hector McCormick.
It's all nice and serene for the drivers in second to third, fourth and the moment. There's Ethan Taylor ahead of Hector McCormick. Ethan Taylor on the Lando Norris chassis, of course, which is part of the OTK group. And it's fascinating because you've got quite a few Formula One drivers now lending their names to karting chassis. Lando Norris was one of the latest to do so. The most recent, of course, is Carlos Sainz. There is now the CS55 chassis, which again is part of a wider network of competitors. I believe it's part of the OTK group as well. But in the past, we've certainly had Daniel Ricciardo and Robert Kubica both lend their names to chassis. Even further back, I think Lewis Hamilton was part of the Tonini group a short while ago. He had a karting chassis that only lasted about 2 years in production, but essentially they're the same as the normal manufacturers, just with a different label. So it's a bit like going to Asda and buying clothes which are labelled George. They're basically still from Asda.
Yeah, this is the battle for 5th place. Ethan Taylor just ahead of Hector McCormick. Great battles on the track here. You've got close battle there for what looks like, I think it's 3rd and 4th place.
Yeah, look, Hakim Bat
has set the fastest lap, by the way.
And he's caught up to Ryan Wheatley, so he's right on the tail. So Hakim Bat has managed to get up into the tail end of Ryan Wheatley. Those two are going to battle away, both number 11, of course. but they're on different classes. So that's how you differentiate between the two. So Hakim Bat is trying his best to move up into second position past Wheatley, but with a 39.8, he's definitely got the pace. Now, a little bit of an adjustment there from Ryan Wheatley down the main straight. That might be enough for Hakim Bat just to sense, well, he's a little bit vulnerable at the moment. Maybe I can go for the move in his second place. So further back, we were looking at Ethan Taylor and Hector McCormick. Hector McCormick, of course, is on the Haase chassis. There's the move from Hakim Bat, but the door is open again, and Wheatley is going to take him back. But there's enough momentum for Hakim Bat. He does manage to complete the move. Oh, a little bit of a nudge, though, from Ryan Wheatley, who's getting frustrated, battling away with Hakim Bat. Well, I don't think you need to be worried about getting frustrated for long, because now that Hakim Bat is through, that's already a 3-kart length gap that's opened up between the two. So that is the move done and dusted, for the moment at least, for Hakim Bat.
Yeah, and Hakim Bat on the Intermax as well, Jake. So 2 Intermaxes in this one. 3 IndyCar Micromaxes, and the 1 Water Swift kart is Ethan Taylor.
It's interesting how the Micromaxes had the pace over 1 lap, but over race pace, it does seem to be the Intermaxes that have the pace. Right, here comes Hector McCormick in the Haase chassis. Obviously run, built and developed by the great karting champion Jorn Haase. So it'll be interesting to see what Hector McCormick can do on it as he takes on Ethan Taylor in the Lando Norris kart. Continuing on their fantastic battle, the two of them. 2 names, of course, that have conquered karting at the top level, Lando Norris and Jorn Haase. And now they both lend their names to chassis. One slightly more famous on the World Motorsport stage than the other, of course.
Yeah, we should clarify that you're calling it the Haase chassis because you've spoke to Jorn out in Europe, and that's how he pronounces his name, apparently.
Yeah, absolutely.
However, around here at Hooton Park and in the UK, they tend to call it a Haas chassis. But just for the viewers and any of the drivers, that's why Jake calls it the Haase chassis.
I do indeed, yeah. He's a fabulous chap, Jorn Haase. Wonderful exponent of the sport. Ruben Gore, having taken the lead and disappeared out in front, has certainly opened the gauntlet in heat number 1 ahead of Hakim Bat and Ryan Wheatley. And this battle isn't over on the last lap of the first heat of the day. We've still got Hector McCormick virtually clambering over the back axle of Ethan Taylor's kart in the bid to get through. Ryan Wheatley's crossed the line in 3rd. William Spencer has come home in 4th position, no problem at all. But who's going to get it between Taylor and McCormick? Can Taylor hang on? It's going to be to the line, and it will be Taylor, but only just. God, that's going to be a great race moving forward. So there is the finishing results. Ruben Gore in front of Hakim Bat, Ryan Wheatley in P3 in front of William Spencer, and Ethan Taylor only beating McCormick to the flag by 0.04 of a second. Very close indeed. Into Heat 2 we go then of the Intermax Micromax Water Swift combo. Ruben Gore and Hakim Bat on the front row of the grid. They've moved them slightly further forward in the Intermax category. Ryan Wheatley and William Spencer on the 2nd row, Ethan Taylor and Hector McCormick on the 3rd. And obviously I guess that's to do with the fact that Ruben Gore and Hakim Bat in their Intermaxes are going to be slightly quicker. So off they go. And immediately Ruben Gore gets himself into the advantage up front, and also Ethan Taylor manages to hang on in front of Hector McCormick through turn 1. So that is the Lando Norris chassis staying in front of the Jorn Haase kart. But it is going to be an interesting one between McCormick and Taylor. We kind of got the sense at the end of the previous heat that their battle isn't done. It was just getting interesting. And I have a feeling that Ethan Taylor and Hector McCormick are going to have a sensational battle between the two of them in this race. In fact, am I right in thinking that's McCormick now in front? I have to have a double check. Oh, well, no, Ethan Taylor's got back in front. I think as they came across the line, McCormick just had his kart triggered on the inside, fractionally in front, but now they've swapped over again. So that battle is going to rage, as will the duel between Wheatley and Spencer, as most likely will the duel now between Ruben Gore and Hakim Bat, because in this race, Hakim Bat doesn't have to worry about overtaking people. He can just close in on Ruben Gore and hustle him. Yeah, that is true. There's a little bit of a gap between them at the moment, though. We'll have to see if Hakim Bat can close that battle down. This is the battle further back. This is that Taylor-McCormick battle. That was raging, wasn't it, in that first heat? Good battle here for 5th and 6th. Now, we've said this before, and it's worth saying again, this may be for 5th and 6th today, Jake, but this little battle that they're in, they want to come out on top. They want to win their own little race here, because it may be for 5th or 6th today, but in a year or two's time, this could be for the lead.
And this is where you learn your racecraft in the midfield and in battles at the back of the field, so that when it comes to you being at the front of the field, and these two will be at the front of the field at some point, that's where all of that tradecraft that you've learned in karting from the start comes into play.
That's so true. I mean, karting is the learning school. It doesn't matter so much what you win in karting. It's about what you take from it. It's about what you learn. I keep saying to karting drivers up and down the length and breadth of Britain and further afield, of course, you know, there's 20 drivers on the Formula 1 grid and only 2 of them have ever been a karting world champion, Max Verstappen and Lando Norris. They're the only 2 that have ever done it. Even Lewis Hamilton, you know, if you combined Hamilton, Schumacher, Senna, so many of these drivers in the past that have won multiple titles, Vettel, Alonso, if you took all of their Formula 1 titles together, they've won over 20 titles in Grand Prix racing, but none of them were a world champion officially in karting.
Yeah.
So it all comes down to what you learn at this level, what you adapt, what you take away from it. And these are the most informative years that you're ever going to have in motor racing. And it's no surprise that in between Formula 1 races, drivers will go back into the world of karting for a cheeky test, because you do still learn all the time. It's one of those sports where you can never know everything.
Yeah, Ethan Taylor here, obviously on the Water Swift chassis, and McCormick is looking down the inside.
Oh, here we
now
go.
As he made this move stick. Looks like he has. He's got the inside line, and McCormick goes through. McCormick, of course, on the IndyCar Micromax kart. The engine is a Micromax engine compared to the Water Swift. Now that harks back to the days of Senna and Terry Fullerton when they raced in the DAP team back in the day. But in those days, karting was all about different engine manufacturers in the same race. You could pick whatever engine you wanted to. These days we see more, I mean, this is sort of harking back to that, because you've got different engines on track at the same time, different speeds though. Back in the day, it would be a case of you could pick and select what engine you use. These days, of course, it's about generally one make races. So we'll see in the programs coming up, Junior Rotax, Senior Rotax, Senior Rotax 177, all the same engines though in the one race.
Yeah, certainly that's the way it's gone at national and regional level. Of course, in the World and European Championships, it is still pick whichever engine you use, but it's not the driver that picks that. It's the team that picks which engine they're going to run with, of course. Ruben Gore, Hakim Bat, still together. Bat is starting to get a little bit quicker now in terms of lap times though. Ruben Gore had the initial upper hand, but now Hakim Bat has got the tyres up to temperature and he's got his rhythm clicked. So this is starting to go more Hakim Bat's way. The only problem is that we haven't got a massive amount of laps to play with here in the Grosvenor Cup. You've only got short races in the heats. So Hakim Bat, obviously again, this is a good learning lesson for him, because he knows that once he's got the car up to temperature, he's fractionally quicker than Ruben Gore. But it's those first couple of laps where you've really got to do the hard work to bed in the tyres, bed in the brakes, and make sure that you are fast out of the blocks.
Yeah, we're not seeing much of that lead battle. Here we come, that's Hakim Bat just gone through.
0.3 of a second quicker than Gore. That just intensifies it, doesn't it?
Yeah, he set the fastest lap there. He's starting to close him now, Jake. So this is the battle for the lead.
Ruben Gore just checked over his right shoulder. He suddenly realises, hang on a minute, Hakim Bat's a lot closer to me than I thought he was. So now I've got to step on it a little bit more. And those are the little moments, really, when you can start to get under the skin of your opponent. You can start to really hammer home your advantage. And it's all psychological at this point. And Hakim Bat does have good pace.
Yeah, there's obviously could be a slight setup difference. The setup difference could be as simple as tyre pressures. It may be that Ruben Gore, with higher tyre pressures, got away early on, but these lower tyre pressures possibly, and I'm not sure, but maybe Hakim Bat's running lower tyre pressures and the car is now just starting to come to him. And look at this, he's closing in. And this is really interesting compared to the first heat where Ruben Gore won comfortably. He's not going to win this one comfortably. He may win it, but not comfortably.
Ryan Wheatley still third, William Spencer still fourth. There's about 7 to 8 of a second per lap distance between them. Good to see that Hector McCormick's lap times have dropped as well. 40.9 for him the last time around. That's almost the same sort of pace that the Micromax drivers are running. Last lap, here we go. Now, Ruben Gore's just done a 39.6, Hakim Bat on a 39.5, so even the pressure of pushing has dropped him off the pace a little bit there. But if Hakim Bat can gain another half second on this last lap, then anything could happen coming out of that final hairpin.
I'm more interested to know what's going to happen in the final here, Jake, because I think Ruben Gore's got enough of a gap here to hold on. It is being closed, that gap, but I think it's enough for him to hold on. But what's going to happen in the final?
Well, you say that, but he keeps looking over his shoulder, and that's when you start getting a little bit nervous. You don't want to be looking behind you in this situation. You just want to keep focusing. You've got a gap, maintain it. Ruben Gore gets away with it on this occasion. He takes the victory, but Hakim Bat is definitely going to be a threat. Look at that, consistently. 4 to 5 tenths of a second a lap quicker once he got into the flow. Ryan Wheatley's going to be a solid third place here in front of William Spencer. So not a bad race from those two as well. But that is just a little taster of what's to come, isn't it? Ruben Gore ahead of Hakim Bat by only 3 tenths. Hakim Bat definitely did have the pace at the end there, though. So if he can get in the cart a little bit quicker, he could be a real threat later on. And so we come to the final, Intermax, Micromax, Water Swift. Ruben Gore versus Hakim Bat in the Intermax battle. Ryan Wheatley versus William Spencer and Hector McCormick in Micro. And Ethan Taylor trying to get in amongst them. Could be a fascinating battle.
Yeah, this is going to be very interesting indeed, based on the back end of that last heat there, the heat 2. Between Ruben Gore and Hakim Bat, that's going to be an interesting one. Can Ryan Wheatley hold on for the Micromax honours? Ethan Taylor will be trying to keep in the mix in the Water Swift. Here they go.
Good start for McCormick, already asserted himself in 5th position behind Wheatley and Spencer. Ethan Taylor right in for the mix, but obviously the two classes have very much been separated, but look how close Hakim Bat is already on Ruben Gore. He's clearly learnt from earlier on.
Now, he lost the back of him early on last time. He's lost a few kart lengths. Again, this could be as simple as different tyre pressures, but it'll be interesting to see. He's closer after the first lap than he was last time. So let's see what happens from here.
I guess it's all about trying to learn how aggressive you need to go in the early stages, because you've got to make the tyres you've got last the distance, but also you've got to make sure that you've got confidence in the car. This is much better from Hakim Bat. He's so much more authoritarian behind the wheel this time compared to the first 2 races, and now he really seems to have the edge on Ruben Gore. But Ruben's got to be very tactical here as well. How hard do you push to try and get away? Because you've got to make the tyres go the distance. It's not an easy science.
I just have a feeling his tyre pressures might be a pound or 2 higher than Hakim Bat's, and if that's the case, then Hakim's kart will come to him later. But look at this, he's right on him now. He's a lot closer than he was in that earlier heat 2, and this could be a fascinating battle all the way to the end.
That's what I love about the way we go through these things and observe these things. Oh, Hakim Bat spins it! He came so close to the back of Ruben Gore, and he suddenly realised, if I don't get off the throttle, I'm going to hit him, and he ended up pirouetting around, just caught the brake pedal, and that has spun him around. What a shame. Hakim Bat was clearly the quicker of the two, having just done a 39.9, but it's so easy to get that little error in judgment in, and unfortunately it's gone pear-shaped for Hakim Bat.
We've been denied a potential classic there, Jake. You know, not many drivers in the field, but that could have been an absolute humdinger of a battle, and unfortunately denied.
Well, the main thing, of course, for Hakim Bat and his crew back home is that, look, they can take the positives away from this. They know, if they look at the lap times, they know, look, we had a kart that was able to win this. We had the potential, we had the setup right, we had the speed, we had the authority. It's easy to make one mistake, but it's even better for you to learn from that and move forward.
You always learn from your mistakes. You hardly ever learn from your successes. It's easy to be all singing, all dancing when things are going well and you're winning back-to-back-to-back wins. What happens when it all goes pear-shaped? That's the question. That's what builds character. When it goes wrong, what do you take out the weekend? Well, Hakim's got to take out the weekend. He had a good heat too. He was doing well in that final, all right. He's made a mistake. It's his own mistake. He wasn't taken out by anybody else, but you learn from that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you've got to look at what Sir Lewis Hamilton has been going through recently. What was it, 925 days without a victory, all that hardship, and he's proven, you know, he still has what it takes from learning through all those hardships and the mistakes and the difficulties and the problems, and he's only recently become the oldest winner of our generation in Grand Prix history, so very impressive stuff. And again, you know, that's what Hakim Bat can learn. But what has he done? Has he thrown his toys out of the pram? Has he let it get to him? No, he's got back on the horse. He's still lapping very competitively there, in second position, ahead of Wheatley and Spencer. He hasn't let it throw him off kilter. He's just getting back on with it, and that's exactly what you need to do.
So that's Wheatley, followed by Spencer and McCormick. This is Spencer and McCormick. This is the main battle on the track at the moment. We're hoping that Hector McCormick here can close down Spencer. Now, Spencer won't be hoping he closes him down, but we want him to close him down just from the point of view of having some action to commentate on.
Well, this is all about confidence again. You know, Hector McCormick was a bit on the back foot in the duel with Ethan Taylor in Heat 1. Then he got the better of him in Heat 2. He managed to get ahead, and I think that's what's really boosted him in terms of his morale.
And getting closer.
He is getting closer. Now he thinks, do you know what? William Spencer is catchable. I took on Ethan Taylor. I beat him. I've got a good kart underneath me, and look, he's 0.2 of a second nearly quicker than Spencer at the moment. So again, that's what I love about karting. You really get to see, sometimes in real time, during a karting meeting, like we have with Hakim Bat, like we're currently seeing with Hector McCormick now. You can see how their confidence grows, how it evolves through the course of a race meeting.
Yeah, Hector McCormick certainly quicker in some parts of the track. He was quicker down the straight and then lost it round the hairpin. Gained through the double apex and then lost it on the exit of the double apex. That's about the same gap as it was last time. He's just got to concentrate on what William is doing in front of him here in the orange and black suit. If he concentrates on his braking, that allows him to get that much closer. Look at that, he does get closer up into the hairpin, then loses it slightly on the exit.
So there's definitely parts of the circuit where Hector McCormick has the advantage over William Spencer. Pushing hard in the Exprit chassis. Of course, Exprit no longer part of the World and European Championships. They still, of course, have fantastic arrangements and deals with various teams around Europe, but they decided recently, along with Cosmic, to pull out as a competitive team in the World and European Championships and plug all their resources into the leading brand, which is, of course, Tony Kart. But they still have, you know, very competitive packages with Cosmic and Exprit in various different forms of motorsport. In various different forms of karting, I should say. Look at it, very close again.
Gets closer up the straight, doesn't he? So he's got more straight line speed. Now you can see he's lost a couple of kart lengths again, 4 or 5 kart lengths coming out of the hairpin.
This is where we're really going to get to see it on the drone. You can see now he's getting right in behind the exhaust. He's got a smoother line through the chicane as well, which definitely helps. Hector McCormick is in the position where he can chase.
Four-wheel drift, classic 1970s Formula 1 four-wheel drift. That's what that used to be the fastest way round a corner in Formula 1 back in the 1970s. All 4 wheels drifting through the corner. Not sure teams and drivers would want to see that now.
Yeah, that was pure James Hunt, wasn't it? Wonderful stuff from Hector McCormick. But unfortunately, it has cost him a little bit of time there to William Spencer, but he can gain it back. We know what he's capable of in this kart, and he's definitely finding the confidence levels now to really try and push after William Spencer. Ryan Wheatley, by the way, is very much in no man's land in 3rd position, looking to win the Micromax class just by virtue of being 3 to 4 of a second ahead of these other guys in lap times, lap by lap.
There he is, that is Ryan Wheatley, just gone through the picture through turn 1 at Vauxhall. Ruben Gore, by the way, is well clear of Hakim Bat. We're concentrating on this battle because it is the only battle really on the track.
I wonder if Bat's had another issue because his lap time suddenly dipped there to a 42.7, so maybe something happened. That's not the kind of pace you would expect to see normally from Hakim Bat.
Let's see what he does this time. Gets the last lap board, Ruben Gore. This is Hakim Bat through the line and brings it down again. So he's had a problem on that last lap. Look at that, 0.6 quicker than the leader.
So again, that's the opportunity really to kind of say, well, look, I've made a mistake on that one, but I'm going to bounce back. And that's really character building for Hakim Bat. He's had a couple of moments, but you can't deny he's the quickest guy out there.
This is the race leader, Ruben Gore. Been a good day for Ruben today. He's just coming up on Ethan Taylor on the Water Swift chassis. Just got to make sure he gets past him, no problem, and does, and gets the checkered flag.
Very nicely done for Ruben Gore. He finishes the job. What was the old Ron Dennis adage? To finish first you have to finish. And he's done a great job there in front of Hakim Bat, who still has the fastest lap of the race. That's not going to be taken away from him now. Ryan Wheatley having a solid run to 3rd position. There's the checkered flag for him.
And see a celebration.
Oh, look at
happy.
that.
Yeah, and he should be. You know, it doesn't matter that you're only racing against a couple of other people. Doesn't matter. When you win a race, you win a race.
Absolutely. So it's a victory in class then for both Ruben Gore in Intermax and Ryan Wheatley in Micromax. Very competitive racing throughout the day for all 6 of those competitors. Can't wait to see what that does to all of their confidence levels. They put in a great show.